So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is the Mr. Media Interview, broadcast and recorded live on blogtalkradio.com from the new media and baseball capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. Who is David Alan Basche? You know the guy who played Debra Messing's ex-husband on the original miniseries for The Starter Wife? You know, the guy who became a flunky for Dr. House last year on House? Well, Basche is taking that guy's place on the new season of The Starter Wife on USA Network. He is, to put it in TV trivia terms, the new Darren on Bewitched. That's right, Kenny Kagan has a new face. Or, in South Park parlance, Kenny's dead. And long live Kenny. But you already know David if you're a fan of Lipstick Jungle, where he's maintaining a role as Kim Raver's boss. And he made quite an impact in an episode of 30 Rock titled Hardball. David, welcome to Mr. Media.
Oh no, they killed Kenny.
How you doing?
Great, happy to be here.
and still on the line after that Darren correct. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's okay. That's how I usually explain it. People say, wait a minute, what about Peter Jacobson? You know, what, didn't he play the ex-husband? And that's how I explain it. I say, well, Peter is on House now, so we're doing a little Bewitched Darren kind of, you know, Dick Sargent, Dick York kind of thing, and I'm just the new Dick.
And a man with a sense of humor, obviously.
I should hope so.
Well, I mean, and obviously you would admit it's a little weird to take over an established role and move in on another man's ex-wife.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, on the one hand, it's strange to just to get into this role with Peter having done it before. I know Peter. We've talked a little bit socially, and you know, he said, "Look, go do what you do. It's different than what I do," and we don't have to feel too badly for him because you know, House is a huge hit, so he's working. But it is weird, you know, coming in as the new guy. You know, my goal was to add a little bit more about Kenny and Molly and what they might have ever seen in each other in the first place, you know. So I think people watching the series tonight at 9 on USA, and also if they continue to watch, I think they'll see the relationship unfold in ways they wouldn't expect between Debra Messing's character and my character. Yeah, that was the idea.
Now, you're obviously a smart enough, experienced enough guy that you got the Darren reference. So let me ask you this. Are there other cases of this happening on TV? I mean, Darren is the one that everyone thinks of.
You know, I don't know. I know in the soap world, at one point it was fairly prevalent. You know, you'd be watching one guy on General Hospital, and you know, and then the following Monday it would be a completely different guy, and no one would say anything. Say, you know, oh yes, good morning, Dr. Rob, and you know, no one would say, why is Dr. Rob suddenly 3 inches taller, has dark hair and glasses? He used to be, you know, one and with red hair. So in the soap world, I know they do it a lot. I don't know about on TV. You know, Peter wasn't available because he was on House and again doing really well, and I think everyone was sad about that. I know Debra and the writers Sarah and Josie are all, you know, they're all very close to Peter. So that must have been as weird for them and for him as it is for me.
So in what ways is the new Kenny better than the old Kenny?
In every way imaginable. No, I don't know. You know, I don't know. It's for me. It has to be a different Kenny. You know, it's not a better or worse. You know, Peter was so good at making this guy unlikable and just unapologetically arrogant, and that's not easy to do as an actor, and Peter was great at it. I mean, really good at it. And I think he also was able to make Kenny likable, but I think it really became a question of the writing. They had a limited amount of time in the miniseries, and this year, you know, we have 10 episodes, and who knows if we'll stay on the air longer than that. So the writers, I think, decided they wanted to try to explore this part of Kenny that might be a little bit more likable and a little bit more charming. And, you know, what's going on with him and Molly? Is there any regret there? Will anything ever happen with them again? And those are all great questions to ask. And things do happen, so people are going to have to watch to find out.
over on Desperate Housewives, a show that has a kind of a similar vibe, kind of funny, kind of dramatic at times. One of the interesting things that's happened there when their season started is that they jumped 5 years ahead, and Terry Hatcher's character is no longer married to the guy Mike, and she's dating this other guy. And I'll tell you why I'm thinking this is that apparently the two men went out to a bar and became friends. And Mike told the new boyfriend about how Terry Hatcher's character really liked the earlobe lick. And I'm wondering if I know that you're playing the ex-husband of Debra Messing's character, but I wondered if Peter Jacobson had provided any similar intelligence on Molly.
Yeah, basically Peter said to me, because Peter and Debra have actually, are very dear friends. So, he basically said to me, Debra likes her coffee with, 1 sugar and low-fat milk, and just whatever you do, don't piss her off.
I can imagine you're a lot of fun to have on the set. I just get that sense.
We're having a good time. We're having a good time.
Has Debra made you feel welcome as her new ex-husband?
Debra's made me feel great. Everybody's been great. They had this tightly knit group: Debra Messing and Judy Davis and Joe Mantegna, Christy Montopoulos, great actor. So it's such a wonderful group, and I was really the new guy, but they've all embraced me. And we just had a ball. We really did. It was one of those situations where we actually liked each other. We don't just get on the air for press and say, "Oh, we like each other," and then you're going to read about us fighting or swearing at each other or throwing things. It's great, and a lot of that comes from Debra. She didn't really have to do this. The miniseries was 10 Emmy nominations, hugely successful, and it could have gone away. Debra really didn't need to be back on TV if she didn't want to be, and she was very careful about what she chose to do next. So it really shows that she wants this to be great, and she wants everybody to have fun, and she's just not going to do it unless it's both of those things. And so I'm just sort of lucky to sort of tag along, just jump on those coattails, and it's the most fun I've ever had.
Will there be any in-jokes for people to watch for in the 2-hour season premiere, which I know is tonight, relating to the Switch?
No, I don't think so. No, we didn't want to wink at it too much.
Okay.
It's basically there's a nice little beginning to bring people up to speed. You don't really have to. It's okay if you haven't seen the miniseries. If you could jump right in tonight at 9:00 on USA. You could jump right in tonight, and Debra's character will has a little voiceover and will bring you right up to speed on what's going on, and I think people will immediately be drawn in. But yeah, we didn't want to mention anything about the Switch. I'm just Kenny, and that's all there is to it. Okay. There are some in jokes. We poke fun at Hollywood a lot, and that's a really good thing because we all in Hollywood take ourselves too seriously sometimes. So it's really great to kind of poke fun at the business.
Well, before you go, I've got one more question. I want to ask you about this other show, this other NBC show. You did this episode of 30 Rock. You work with another strong, very funny woman, Tina Fey, who runs that show. Can you tell us just briefly what it was like to be on that show, and what you may have taken away from that experience?
I had the most fun on 30 Rock. It was fantastic. I played a really funny character who was an agent who represents some of the guys on the show. Lonnie Ross, who's a great actor, I represented his character on the show, and it was funny because I got to negotiate with Alec Baldwin, and my guy likes to abbreviate everything. So instead of negotiation, he says this is going to be one tough negotiation, and it's
I remember.
That's a little bit typical of Hollywood. So that was really fun to do. And listen, how bad could it be when you end up on the floor doing the crab in front of Tina Fey and Alec Baldwin? So I'm looking to come back. Listen, so NBC and USA are all part of the Universal Television family. So, if you're listening, 30 Rock folks, I'm happy to come back. And somebody must need their deal renegotiated, for God's sake, right? It's one of those characters.
Well, you're welcome back here if you want to come back and. If you want to come back and talif you're going to get back on 30 Rock, come back and talk to us again. And right now, we'll remind everybody to check out David Alan Basche's work as the new Kenny Kagan on USA Network's The Starter Wife. Kicks off tonight, 9 o'clock, 2 hours. And David, thanks so much for joining us on Mr. Media today.
My pleasure. Hope everyone likes the show tonight.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. And folks, for dozens more celebrity and media newsmaker interviews, surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com. That's where you can listen to my earlier conversations with Billy Bob Thornton, Cheryl Hines, Jeff Garlin, Robert Schimmel, Kirk Douglas, and one of David's co-stars from The Starter Wife, Danielle Nicolette, among many, many others. And please think about writing an online review of Mr. Media, casting a vote for Mr. Media, or marking Mr. Media as one of your favorites, whether you listen on Blog Talk Radio, DigitalJournal.com, Podcast Pickle, Vox, Folio, Mediafly, Podfeed, Blueberry, Zencast Audio, the Kindle Reader, or iTunes. And if you've got an idea for a guest, email me directly at bob@Andelman, ANDELMAN.com. Thanks for joining us today. I always appreciate when you give up a little bit of your day to spend it with us. Come back real soon, everybody.